In September of 1865, deep in the forests of northern Georgia, two massive armies collided, and what happened there became one of the bloodiest battles of the American Civil War. This was Chickamauga, the biggest battle ever fought in Georgia, a fight so brutal that it changed the war in the West overnight. And the crazy part, the battle's turning point came from a single decision that opened a gap at the worst possible moment. Welcome back to History Reminds Us. If you love stories where strategy, human courage, and split-second mistakes change everything, hit subscribe right now and join the community. Let's step into the force of Chickamauga. To understand Chickamauga, you have to understand Chattanooga, Tennessee, an enormous prize in 1863. It wasn't just a city, it was a rail junction, a gateway into the Deep South, and a key to controlling the western theater of the war. Union Major General William S. Roskins, leading the Army of Cumberland, began pushing south in late June 1863. Through successful movements, often without major bloodshed, he forced Confederate General Braxton Bragg and the Army of Tennessee out of Middle Tennessee and back toward Chattanooga. But Roskins didn't strike Chattanooga head-on. Instead, on August 29th, Union troops crossed the Tennessee River at several points, west and southwest of the city. Nearly 60,000 Union soldiers advanced in three widely separated columns through rough terrain in northeast Alabama and northwest Georgia. It was bold but risky. Bragg saw the threat to his supply lines and retreated south from Chattanooga on September 9th. Even though reinforcements were arriving, then Bragg realized something. Roskins' army was spread out, and if Confederates hit the right place at the right time, they could destroy it. And this was where the stage is set, one army rushing to concentrate, the other desperate to strike before it's too late. By September 17th, two Union corps were moving north toward Lee and Gordon's Mill on Chickamauga Creek to reunite with the 3rd. Bragg believed those Union troops near the mill were the northern edge of Roskins' forces. His plan was aggressive: cross Chickamauga Creek north of the mill, drive the Union army southwest, and pin them against the mountains cut off from Chattanooga. And now we arrive at the battle that would unfold across 3 days, September 18th to the 20th, 1863. The first day wasn't one giant clash, it was a fight for position. Confederates tried to seize key crossing points at Chickamauga Creek. Union cavalry delayed them at Reed's Bridge, but Southern forces eventually took it and pushed toward Lee and Gordon's Mill. At Alexander's Bridge, Union mounted infantry fought another delaying action before being forced back. The Confederates did get across on the 18th, but the delays mattered. They couldn't reach the Union left flank quickly enough to land a crushing blow. That one day of delays, it helped save the Union army from being hit in the open before it could form a real line. After the 18th, Roskins feared Bragg might wedge the Confederate army between the Union and Chattanooga. So he ordered General George H. Thomas to extend Union lines northward toward the Kelly Farm. On the morning of September 19th, Thomas set up troops eastward from the Kelly Farm, thinking they were hitting a small enemy force. They were wrong. Union soldiers ran into Confederate cavalry, and suddenly the woods exploded into a confused general engagement that spread for nearly 4 miles. The forests were thick, commanders couldn't see the full battlefield, large formations couldn't maneuver cleanly. Instead, it became brutal close-range fighting, Unions slamming into each other in waves. At one point, Confederates broke through and threatened the Lafayette Road, a critical artery, but Union reinforcements rushed in and regained ground. By nightfall, the Union army had held still connected to Chattanooga. They pulled back to defensive positions along the Lafayette Road and built log breastworks, preparing for the next day. And tomorrow would bring the moment Chickamauga is remembered for, one of the most infamous gaps in Civil War history. Overnight, Bragg reorganized. He split his army into two wings, the right wing under Leonidas Polk, the left wing under James Longstreet, who had arrived from Virginia with reinforcements. Bragg's plan for the 20th: attack at dawn on the Confederate right and roll the assault southward, driving Union forces away from Chattanooga. But something went wrong, seriously wrong. Polk's wing was supposed to start at dawn, but confusion and poor coordination delayed the attacks for hours. Still, when the fighting fully ignited, Union troops behind breastworks repulsed attack after attack with heavy casualties. Then shortly after 11 a.m., Rosecrans believed he spotted a gap in the Union center caused by a division moving out of position. To fix it, he ordered Brigadier General Thomas J. Wood to shift north to fill the supposed hole. But that movement created a real gap. In that exact same moment, Longstreet launched a massive assault. Thousands of Confederates surging forward like a battering ram into the opening. By noon, the Union center and right collapsed. Rosecrans' key commanders and thousands of men were swept into retreat toward Chattanooga, and it looked like a total disaster. But not everyone ran. A portion of Union troops formed a defensive line on a steep wooded ground known as Snodgrass Hill, also called Horseshoe Ridge, and there General George H. Thomas held, absorbing repeated attacks from Confederates throughout the afternoon. The Confederates couldn't take the position. Thomas' stand earned him a new name, the Rock of Chickamauga. Late in that day, Thomas withdrew his forces through a gap at Missionary Ridge, bringing the survivors back toward safety. The stubborn defense didn't win the battle, but it kept the Union army from being destroyed. Rosecrans' army suffered more than 16,000 killed, wounded, or missing. Bragg's army of roughly 68,000 suffered more than 18,000 casualties. Technically, it was a Confederate victory because it pushed the Union back into Chattanooga and stopped them from advancing deeper into Georgia. But strategically, it was complicated because Rosecrans already achieved a major campaign objective. The Union held captive Chattanooga. The problem was that after Chickamauga, the Union army was trapped there, besieged, and the North had to pull troops from other theaters to reinforce the city. Yet despite the bloodbath, Chickamauga produced few intimate, decisive results beyond forcing the Union onto the defensive for the moment. Chickamauga reminds us how quickly a campaign can flip. A bold advance becomes a dangerous overextension. A forest turns armies blind. A single order, one movement can open a door to catastrophe. But it also reminds us of something else. Even in defeat, discipline and leadership can save an army from destruction. Just like Thomas on Horseshoe Ridge. If you want more stories like this, battles, turning points, and human moments that shape history, make sure you subscribe to History Reminds Us. Drop a comment. Do you think the Union's biggest mistake was spreading out before Chickamauga? Or was the real issue what happened at 11 a.m. on September 20th? And if you want, I can do a follow-up episode on the siege of Chattanooga and how the Union turned this setback into a major breakthrough. Thanks for watching. History doesn't just happen, it reminds us.